What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Work Knife Balance. We got a sweet knife from a brand new knife company we're going to take a look at today. I got this one in the pass around. It has been with Stevie already, so I got some sweet said Stevie stickers. And then this one is the pass around from Lefty EDC, Kevin from Lefty EDC. So I'm really excited to take a look at this knife. Before we get too far into it, I want to say thank you to anybody who's already liked and subscribed to our channel. If you haven't, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. You can also find us on Instagram at WorkKnifeBalance939. Send over a knife if you want. We'll do a sweet review or really anything. And then we'll send it back with some sticker and swag for you just to say thank you for letting us take a look at your stuff. So yeah, without further ado, we'll go ahead and dive into this. This is going to be the Piratech Kraken. So this is a new knife company from Kay and Damon, who used to be with Kaiser and now are on their own company, Piratech Kraken. This is the certificate of authenticity that comes with the knife. So this is going to be the Kraken. It has S90V steel, titanium scales, 3.22 length on the blade, 6.13, 61.3 HRC. And this is assembled by Damon on November 3rd of 2023. This is number 1 of 193 or number 1 out of 93. I don't know. But it does have a special number to itself as well. So that's pretty cool. It comes with a nice little cloth. Actually has the Piratech name and logo down there in the corner, so that's pretty sweet. And then here is the knife. Oh, looks like you get some extra hardware with it too. So you've got some screws and then 2 little springs to go with that as well. So I don't know if this bubble wrap is how the knife is wrapped as well, or if that's just extra protection from the pass around group. But there's the box. I really like the kind of sliding box little clasp. It's really nice. So go ahead and set that over here to the side. And then here is the knife. Right off the bat, I really like this case. It's not your typical zipper case or anything. It looks kind of like a faux leather. It's very malleable, nice, easy, flexible material, which is cool. But it protects the knife, and then it looks good. And then it also has the Kraken logo on it right there as well. So that's pretty cool. Nice little slip to open it up from, and then it has kind of a felt feel on the inside. And there is the Kraken. Release the Kraken. Ooh, I like that. So this is going to be a bar lock, access lock styled knife, and right off the bat, I'm really excited to look at this because this was a Kickstarter that I did not jump on, and I almost did. I really wanted to because there's some really cool things about the Kraken that we will get into later. But right off the bat, I'm going to pull this out. This, to me, looks like a bar lock Sebenza. That's what it kind of looks like to me. A bar lock Sebenza. Different blade shape, obviously, but it's a bar lock Sebenza. That's what it kind of looks like. Not a copy by any means, because it is a new design. It is something different. There are differences in the design to it itself, but the overall aesthetics to me look kind of like a bar lock Sebenza, which makes sense because I really like Sebenzas, so I really like this off the bat because of that. The scales are going to be a titanium scale that are absolutely just, they feel soft, but they look really cool. You do have the kind of milled in there the logo, so you've got the Kraken logo on both sides there, so that's pretty cool. One of the really cool things about this knife that we're not going to be able to take a look at just because I don't feel comfortable taking apart someone else's knife is, without permission essentially, these scales are magnetic, and so they have a really easy quick release. What you do is you can actually take off, well, I mean, let's see. So you open this up, I believe, and then you're able to kind of, yeah, I don't remember exactly how, and I don't want to do too much in that, so we'll go ahead, but these are, go ahead and take a look at, I believe Lefty has a video taking the scales off, and I think Casey has a video from Knives Fast as well taking the scales off, so go ahead and take a look at that. One really cool thing about this is that new kind of tech, that new technology of the magnetic scales, and so the scales are magnetic, which makes it really easy to kind of get in there and mess around with it. I'm looking at this though right now, and I don't see any hardware whatsoever. Like, I don't see any hardware at all. So I'm just, oh, okay. That is why. So yes, the scales are 100% magnetic. They just pop right off. which is really cool. And then you can line them up and put them in there. Looks like you have to go from this top side. It's a little bit easier, I'm assuming, because that's the way I was able to get it the first time. Boo. Yeah. And then you've got the backspacer that kind of slips in here as well, so you can hold that in. So put that backspacer in place and get that back on there. So these scales are magnetic. They actually are quite firm. So you don't have to really, those are really good magnets holding that in there, quite firm holding that in there. That is actually really cool, because then you can see the inside of the knife. You can also swap scales really easy, and I do know they have an anodized version of the scales that you can get on their website as well. So we will link the knife below if it's something you're interested in. I think you can still pick these up on their website. They're not sold out as of yet, so if you missed the Kickstarter, you will have to pay a little bit more, but you can still get them on their website, and they're fantastic. So let's go ahead and do some measurements first, and then some comparisons, side-by-side comparisons. So we'll go ahead and open this up and do our tip to tail. Tip to tail, we are looking at about 7.5, and those magnets are holding on to my measuring tape there. So tip to tail, we're looking just over 7.5 in length. We'll say 7.55. Blade length, we are looking about 3.25 with a cutting edge of about 3.15 in there. So slightly shorter cutting edge. You do have a little bit on that choil edge there. You have a really, really nice kind of looking sheep's foot coming in here, and it's kind of like a, I don't know, it's a modified sheep's foot for sure, but it is a really nice sheep's foot. You have a little bit of a kind of like wedge coming through here and a ramp coming through that would almost be like a start to lean into a clip, but there's no point on the edge to add it, actually make it a clip point. So yeah, so I really like this blade. I really like the blade profile quite a bit. Ergos on this are really, really nice. We'll do some side-by-side comparisons for you. We've got our Civivi Elementum button lock, and then we've got the Para 3 out there as well. So that kind of shows you the button lock and the Para 3, both really kind of classic, good EDC knives. Gives you a side comparison. It is larger than both of them, slightly larger than the Para 3, but definitely quite a bit larger. Not quite a bit larger. The handle is larger than the Elementum, and the blade is close. Its blade is close in size. Not exactly the biggest, but definitely close. And then because we made the comparison earlier to the Sebenza, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the Sebenza, and we can do a side-by-side comparison with the Sebenza, which this is a large Sebenza as well. So you can see the Sebenza is a bigger knife. So if you're used to and liking and carry large knives like a large Sebenza, this is going to be smaller than that. So that gives you a good comparison to a lot of those knives, giving you a side-by-side on those to how you'd feel it. Ergos on the knife, I really, really like the way that they put this blade profile together. So, closed, it does look like a bar lock Sebenza to me. It could just be my opinion. Everyone else may think something completely different, but it looks like a very clean bar lock Sebenza. And but clean, I mean the way that they added those magnetic scales, there's absolutely no hardware whatsoever showing, and I love that. I think it's really cool. It's a really fantastic new idea. The tech that they put into this, Piratech that they put into this knife, is something that is new, hasn't been done to my knowledge, and is definitely worth looking at if you get your chance to get your hands on one of these. So yeah. Ergos on it feel really good. No choking up at all. There's no really any place to put a finger to choke up on, but you don't need to quite too much. It is a 4-finger knife. You do have a really good kind of indexing spot with that pointer finger right there, and then you can kind of grip it in. The milled titanium clip on the backside is kind of chamfered around the edges, so you don't have any sharp edges, and then it is very nicely kind of contoured in there, so you don't feel it at all. It fits really good in your hand. Really good kind of front grip for any sort of technical work, anything. Nice pinch grip. Good with the thumb on the big backside right there too. Really, really good jimping. Deep jimping and ample jimping. You did not skimp on the jimp at all. That is fantastic. The action is really good, as you can see. Kind of goes in and out really nice. There's not much else to really worry about that. It's a little slow on the intake, but that's just me getting used to the knife and doing it slower and slower as doing it faster and faster as I speed up there. But really good thumb stud flick, and you can reverse flick out too if you want. The springs are a little weak. I'm curious if the springs that they sent are stronger springs or if they're just spare springs. But yeah. I do know there was a note from Casey when he had this that he said the finish scratches super easy, and I can actually see where there's a like snail trail right there on the pocket clip already. So I'm probably not going to carry this at all just because I don't want to add anything else to it. But that's one thing that I would want to fix if I were Damon and Kay, is trying to find a way to help that finish so it's not quite as sensitive to the environment that you're around, so it doesn't quite get as dinged up. Because I love my knives, I use my knives, I use a lot of my knives, and I use some of them hard and some of them not so much. Some of them just cut tape and cardboard. But I love when my knives look good, and little bits of stuff like that drive me crazy after a while. Until it's, woo, got on the backside of my pinky there. But until it is, luckily I didn't cut anything, so that's good. Until it's fully used in there. So yeah, I will say, if I remember right, this is north of 200, and I will put the link below with the price. If this is under 250, I would jump on this in a heartbeat. If it's 250 to 280, I would have to think about it. If it's 300 or above, I'm gonna pass. And I will say, it's a knife that I definitely wanted to jump on with the Kickstarter. So if that Kickstarter price was in there, it's probably something that the funds just weren't in. And there's the S90V, as you can see right there. The funds probably weren't available at the moment, and that's a bummer for sure, because this is a beauty of a knife. This is number 193. So there, I don't know if you can see that in there. Number 193. So that number on the front side, the 193, is just number 193. So yeah. Yeah, so I would say that if, like I said, if it's 2 to 250, I'd jump on this knife. I think it would definitely be worth it. 250 to 280, I would have to think about it. Just, there's nothing about it to me that is, the bar lock is nothing fantastic. It's not amazing. The magnetic scales are really, really cool, but I don't know if they're worth $300 on an S90 titanium knife, essentially. So, and that's what it is. It's a titanium bar lock knife with S90V steel, which is really good and really nice. I really love the blade profile. I really like the ergos. But what you're paying for is that extra new technology in the scales and that titanium scales. And so I don't know if that would be something that I would pay over $300 for. But someone else might, and I think if you did, I wouldn't knock you for it. I think it's worth it. It's just not what I would buy and put in my collection. So yeah, that definitely something to think about as I'm going over some of this stuff. I will say this is coming to me right at the end of 2023 as well. And so we're starting to think every knife that comes through Knife of the Year category. This one doesn't hit it for me on Knife of the Year. I'm curious to see how many other people think about that and as they handle this and go through it. But this is a fantastic knife. I really love what they did with the tip on this knife. I will say that. What they did with the tip and the blade profile on this knife is one of the main reasons I would get this knife. That blade profile, having that modified Warncliffe with a little bit of the like wedged ramp in there, is, I really, really like that. It's a really good looking blade profile and a very useful blade profile as well. Yeah, that would be the one thing that I would probably like, if I wanted this knife, the thing that's going to get me isn't the magnetic scales, but the blade profile and the actual knife itself with the S90V. The magnetic scales would just be like special features on a DVD. The main course is why I bought it, the main feature film, but the special features were something extra bonus that were really cool. So yeah, I don't have much else to say about this knife. we're going to go ahead and leave it there, but there will be links below. If you follow any of the Amazon links, they do support our channel, and we greatly appreciate that. Any of the links that are not Amazon links are just for you to find cool stuff that we've posted and thought would be sweet. So feel free to follow those up. And as always, we'll see you next time. TTFN.